Hi everyone, hope you're all well. For the latest instalment of my Key Takeaways series, I'm delighted to be joined by Mark Leruste. Mark is a leadership and communications expert and best-selling author of Glow in the Dark. Mark, great to see you again, and thanks for joining us to share your insights.
Yeah, no problem, Chris. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the little plug-in of the book as well. That was pretty cool.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I'm enjoying it. Could you tell us a bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, so I'm a leadership and communication expert and the best-selling author of Glow in the Dark and the award-winning host of the Unconventionalist podcast. And I'm on a mission to help entrepreneurs and business leaders impact the world with their stories and embrace courageous vulnerability.
Sounds like you got a big job.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like, we talk about purpose and that kind of stuff in today's world, but I've been preaching about purpose at work for the past few years. And, one of my purpose is to help those who serve others. And those tend to be leaders and people in executive positions. And what I found is that over the last 7 years of working with CEOs and founders and business owners is that you can be really good at what you do, but it doesn't mean you're really good at putting yourself out there authentically, and that most people struggle to connect on an emotional level with their audience.
And it sort of leads me to my first question, actually. So in the corporate world, why is it so important to be authentic?
Well, I think it's, obviously I like to make the distinction between what is being authentic and what is being in therapy. I think where most people kind of, tread the waters like I'm here to get the job done. I'm not here to just pour my feelings. And I think there's truth in both. I think there are spaces for you to talk about your deepest wounds and open scars and that kind of stuff, and usually in a therapy session or a professional. But if you're leading an organization or you have a team and you're trying to achieve something, then you need to be able to convey a picture of a future that doesn't yet exist, but that can be true if everybody pulls their weight and achieves the highest potential. And I think that the way that you get the best out of your team isn't just about your ability to paint the future worth striving for, but it's also to be able to relate to as to why you believe that this mission matters and why you are the right leader to be there with them amongst this team. And it's interesting because I was on a podcast this morning and they said, but when the flight starts crashing down, I don't want to hear the pilot talk about their problems. And I was like, yeah, neither do I. But if you want that team on the airplane to do whatever it can to save the plane, then you better make sure that the pilot spends some time before the flight to connect with the rest of the crew and saying, hey, how's everyone doing? Just so you know, this is what, I got into flying or whatever it is. So it's about building the foundations that you need in order to connect with the audience and be a more compelling and trustworthy leader.
No, fascinating. What advice would you have for anyone who's hesitant about putting themselves out there?
Well, first of all, if you go through the book, you'll read that we are biologically designed to fit in, and because of our evolutionary biology, we're really afraid of being rejected, of being criticized, of standing out from the crowd. So it's a natural response to not want to be the one standing out or putting your head out. But again, if you're in a company and you're trying to advance your career, or if you're leading a business and you want to try and attract and recruit top talent, there needs to be an element of yourself to be put forward so you can differentiate yourself, because the skill sets that you have, no matter how unique you think they are, they're actually not that unique. The only thing that's unique about you is your story. It's the only thing that nobody can compete with. It's actually your only USP when you think about it. And I know this is hard for a lot of people to think, but look at the amount of times that you've seen competition sweep in and take the same kind of products or services, or even trying to recruit your talent, but nobody can compete on your story. And I think that's where you stand out, especially when you start introducing yourself. Where people most fail is when they don't realize the amount of opportunities they have to introduce themselves in a compelling way, whether that's a networking event, a live panel they're speaking on, a podcast they're being interviewed in, media, their team meetings, board meetings, stakeholders, shareholders, what have you. There's constantly an opportunity to put into context as to why this matters. And I think your story is the most powerful vehicle to put your ideas and message out there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. I think from a recruiter's perspective, it's people buy into people.
Mm.
It's the ultimate sort of deciding factor, really. In your book, you talk about the importance of sharing our own personal stories in a business or professional context. What would you say that are the benefits of doing this?
I think there are like three main things, that I would probably point to. One of them is that it helps you better connect with your audience. So that enables you to have people's attention. It enables you to galvanize people towards a goal or a mission that you're trying to achieve. It enables people to not switch off when you talk, which you'd be surprised by the amount of times that happens in the corporate world. When I talk to people and leaders from different parts of the team. It also builds trust and relatability. So as leaders, we can be really good at what we do. We can have a really clear vision, and we can be really, focused on the bottom line and get our P&L really healthy. But the problem is, if you struggle to build relationship with your team, you're really going to struggle to get through the tough times and get them to overachieve what you'd like them to. And I think finally, it helps inspires action. Like it enables to contextualize where you're coming from. It enables people to see that actually you're human. Like I gave a talk called Humanizing Leadership, which enables leaders to become, go from a faceless kind of job title to a human leader that people believe in, are inspired by, and are willing to follow through battle and through ups and downs. And also, I just think it honestly just makes you a more valuable commodity, because suddenly when you share a story, you've got skin in the game. It's kind of like, when when I was leading a team, I remember, when I introduced myself, I kind of said, look, here's the deal. Like I was in your shoes not that long ago, and I promised myself that the day I would come here, I would try and avoid these mistakes. But fundamentally, I'm going to need your help to shape the kind of leader I need to be to get the best out of you. And just that really short story of acknowledging that I don't know everything. I don't have it all figured out. In fact, perfectly honest, I don't think I've shared this, but I really sucked as a leader the first time I became like a manager, right? Like I thought I was going to have it all figured out, and I used to criticize all my managers and leaders, and then I became one, and I realized how hard it was. Like you're juggling so many different tasks. You're trying to put out fires. You're trying to deal with internal politics and filter information that you can or cannot share, and it's complicated. So being able to relate that very short story to my team to basically explain that I've got it wrong. I don't always have it right, but I'm going to do my very best. And my goal is to get the best out of you so we can fulfill this mission that we've set ourselves and objectives that we've got for this year. It doesn't have to be like a Wikipedia page. You can do it in a really quick way, but I think it's a really powerful way to grab attention, inspire trust and action.
No, sure. No, really interesting. And I guess out of interest, what sort of feedback have you received since publishing your book?
Really good, actually. Like weirdly, like the strangest thing is getting a message from someone saying, "Oh my God, I just saw someone read your book on the tube." That still to me
Yeah.
feels surreal. Like even walking into Waterstones and seeing my book was pretty surreal. My kids didn't care. They were just like, "Where's Peppa Pig?" But no, it's been amazing. It really has been amazing. Like just getting some really lovely, heartfelt testimonials from people reading the book saying it's kind of the book I wish I had 10 years ago, or this book has really changed the way that I introduce myself or relate to my team, or even have conversation with potential clients and customers. I chose my publisher based on the story. Actually, it's really funny, but I had a bunch of publishers who wanted to get a book deal out of me, and the one I went for in the end was the one who had the most compelling story when he introduced himself and why he became an editor, why he believed that this publisher was the best publisher, not because of necessary volume or whatever, but because they cared. And I was like, there you go, that's it. Like you just became, a league of your own. And I think that's what sharing a story gives you.
Case in point, I guess.
Say that again.
Case in point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there while we've got you, is there anything else that you want to share with us today?
No, I want to say a couple of things. If you're curious to find out more, you can go to www.glowinthedarkbook.com, and I'm just about to launch a course called Own Your Story, which is turning my book into a practical course where I'll be providing weekly coaching group calls where people can actually come and get some help and get on the hot seat and answer Q&A and just dive deeper in the book. And it's something I'm really, really excited about because I've been doing that a lot with one-to-one clients, but my fees are kind of high and because I'm traveling a lot for speed beach right at the moment. I haven't got that much time, so I'm excited about that. So if you're compelled to find out more, it's glowinthedarkbook.com.
Fantastic. That sounds great. Mark, thank you very much for sharing your insights today. Really interesting.
Thanks,
and
Chris.
look forward to seeing more.
See you soon.